Over the past few years, flash cards have become very popular for retro gaming consoles. As the prices of retro video games rise, it gets harder and harder to collect for these systems, so flash cards are a viable alternative for many people. You're still able to play on your original hardware, you're still able to play on your original TV, it's just you don't have to have the original cartridge, or even if you do own the original cartridge, you don't have to pull it off the shelf. You could simply just pop in one cartridge and be able to play all your games. And you know, they've been around for quite a while now, at least over a decade, and I've never really heard any negative things about them. Of course, there's the whole ROMs versus, you know, blah blah blah, emulation ROMs, good, evil thing, but aside from that, I'm talking about from a technological standpoint, and I don't claim to be a technological guy. I just recently upgraded my Saturn to S-Video, and I was blown away. So I mostly know about actual video games, not the technology, not the, you know, scientific stuff behind it. So recently, I stumbled across an article on Nintendo Life that was through DB Electronics. And the article on Nintendo Life says flash cards could be slowly killing your retro consoles. And this was pretty surprising to me. This was the first time I'd ever heard of anything like this, because flash cards have been around forever. And how many times do you hear about people losing their consoles to a flash card? So I decided to look into this, and like I said, I'm not a scientific person, but I did bring some people on board that would know a little bit more about it than me, and I did a lot of research on this. So, are these flash cards killing your retro video game consoles? Let's find out. So I will be cheating some on this video because there's a lot of information here. I do have my computer, but I want to make sure I'm accurate in what I'm saying, and I want to make sure I'm right in what I'm saying, because like I said, I'm not an expert on technology. I just like to play the games. I don't really know much about them. So the whole argument is based on something that DB Electronics has come up with, saying that there is a mismatch between the 3.3 volt carts and the 5 volt system that's being used on. And I quote, "When the console outputs 5 volt into a 3.3 volt input, the extra voltage must go somewhere. First law of thermodynamics, it is converted to heat through the unintended conduction of clamping diodes, which can be very harmful to the integrated circuits. These diodes are there for protection against ESD, which are very short and infrequent bursts of energy. They are not designed for continuous conduction and therefore continuous heat dissipation." So basically what he's saying is that these carts, especially older Everdrives and whatnot, and, you know, multi-carts, Chinese flash carts and whatnot, are outputting the wrong voltage. And what this is doing is it's slowly melting the system from the inside out, thus ruining the system, thus killing your retro game system. Okay, now, I have a couple issues with that because I don't think that's necessarily true. Just from an outsider standpoint, my whole thing with this article was that it was sort of fear-mongering, you know, sort of, you know, making you worried about something, making you worried about a problem that doesn't necessarily exist. Because how long have flash cards been out, and how many people have had issues with their actual hardware? Not the flash card, with the actual hardware. So I took to Facebook before asking a few people specifically and looking up some other information, just asking, you know, how has anyone had issues with their flash cards with long-term usage? Ken from I Will Always Love Video Games hit me up and said, "I've been using a flash card on my GBA SP for around 11 years now, and it hasn't caused any problems." And that's definitely within the time frame. You know, these things, flash cards have been around for a long time. Let's see, we also have some other people here. Jeffrey Wittenhagen from Hagen's Alley's books. "This is the same as the fear-mongering that people had for playing Burns in CD-based consoles. I've been doing that for 15 plus years. I've never had an issue. I've been doing flash cards on every system, and I've only had one issue, and it's the reverse." So that was another thing that I thought was interesting, because if that heat is going somewhere, why does it necessarily have to be going into the console itself? Why can't it be going into the cartridge, thus messing up the cartridge? And a lot of other people chimed in and, you know, gave their 2 cents on it. And so I went to DB Electronics website and just sort of looked over, you know, what they were saying. One of the things that I found to be very interesting on DB's article was, I've already heard from several friends that their NES consoles have died, most likely due to their admittedly heavy usage of cheap multi-carts. Really? Like, okay. I understand you're trying to, you know, paint a narrative here, but that's bullshit, okay? I have never, ever heard of a person having an issue to the point of where it dies. You know, several people, what did he say? Several friends? Several friends? Come on now, that's a bit of embellishing. Maybe you had one friend who happened to have an issue alongside while they were using a multi-cart or a flash cart, but that I thought was sort of disingenuous. Also, going on to the DB Electronics article, common rebuttals, well, my device has been working properly for 2 years now. And he replies, this is like saying I've been smoking for 2 years and I don't have cancer. Therefore, smoking does not cause cancer. If you believe the statement, you deserve to damage your retro console. Once again, a bit disingenuous there. You don't have to go, you know, with sort of personal attacks on people because they disagree with you. So I decided to get an expert, and that would be Corey from My Life in Gaming, because he is someone that actually knows, you know, stuff. You know, he understands stuff, and I'm an idiot and he's not. So I asked him what he thought of the situation. Basically, what I've come to, and this is through Kev Triss's statement on the situation, Crix's statement on the situation, and Corey's statement on the situation, is that the science is there. Scientifically, yes, this is a possibility that it could happen because of the differences in voltage. However, in a practicality standpoint, it's more than likely not an issue. It's more than likely something that's never going to happen. That's like saying, you know, living your life in fear, because scientifically speaking, you know, the world could sink underwater in any minute now, or an asteroid could come and kill us all. Yeah, it's a possibility, but the possibility of it actually happening is so minuscule. So Corey just went on to say that they may eventually run into issues if you've been using an Everdrive for years and years and years. So maybe it is fear-mongering in a way, but it is something that should be addressed at some point. And so basically what I've come across is with the experts, you know, with people that design the Everdrives, with people that like Kev Triss, who design FGPA systems, with people like Corey from My Life in Gaming, and of course eyewitness testimony, people that have been using flash cards for years and even decades in some situations, is that yes, there is the potential for this to happen. Yes, the science behind it is there, and it does make sense, but the likelihood of it happening is so minuscule that it's not even an issue. So, are flash cards killing retro game consoles? I'm going to go ahead and say no. No, they're not. They may be damaging them a little to a point where you won't even realize it. The science is there, but the likelihood of it actually happening is so small, it's nothing to worry about. Continue to use your Everdrives. Continue to use your flash cards. Maybe, you know, pass up on the Chinese ones, because they may be using a completely different voltage that'll burn your whole house down, and then you'll have bigger problems than just worrying about your precious flash card and your precious console. But no, I don't feel that these systems are necessarily being damaged by these flash cards. If anything, maybe the flash cart is damaging the flash cart through prolonged use. But who's really using a flash cart for, you know, 12 hours a day, you know, day after day? I don't know. So no, I'm gonna say no, not an issue. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your flash cards. And so yeah, nothing to worry about here. Let me know what you think about this section, or the situation, in the comments section down below. If you know about sort of voltages and whatnot, be sure to sound off in the comments section down below. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.
RGT 85, RGT 85. RGT